Hi, my name is Kayden Coleman, and I am a transgender father of two daughters, and this is my birthright story. Well, I experienced a lot of traumas. There were a lot. There were a laundry list of things that contributed to the trauma that I experienced navigating as a trans man giving birth. Um, you know, some of them being just something as simple as misgendering me.
I see how holding on to this kind of identity of womanhood for Black women is really important to them because it has been a thing that's been historically stripped from them through enslavement, through, throughout all of history, especially when we think about darker skinned Black women. So I completely understand why it is so hard for especially Black women to be like, you want me to include non-binary people in this? You want me to include trans men in this? Like, are you trying to take my identity from me again? And it's not that. It is not that at all.
As a person who has, at times stumbled through my language, as a person who sometimes still says breastfeeding, the question is there grace in the trans movement for people to be on a journey? And how can both sides of the people that we need to be together on this journey seek it, accept it, give it as we try to reach to that same goal, which is a safe birth experience for all Black birthing people?
Mhm.
But is there
That's
grace? And and
that's
and how can folks who may feel that there hasn't been any tap into it? And how can we view those missteps as people are bound to make in the journey?
yes. Thank you for asking this question. This is a good question. Um, there absolutely is grace. There definitely is grace. But I challenge people to be okay with the discomfort of being corrected, um, and be okay with the discomfort of someone correcting you abruptly. Uh, you know, I think it's hard when you say something and you don't know, or you haven't been exposed to certain experiences, and then someone comes to you with frustration about it. And I challenge cis people who are trying to stumble through this uncomfortable process of figuring things out, um, to think about putting yourself in trans people's shoes, and not only just the ancestral trauma of our trans ancestors, who have put up with and resisted so much, but also how fatiguing it is to at every turn have someone invalidate your existence. Um, and the constant misgendering and trying to be in this work, and it wears and tears at your patience. And so I challenge cis people to be understanding that when folks show up already with you know, their patience running low, that you also give some grace and say, okay, let me just step back. Thank you for correcting what I said. And I'm going to just sit back and think about this and take some time to really think about what was the substance of what the person said underneath the tone. But there definitely is grace. Um, there's definitely grace when you make a mistake and people kind of jump on you a little bit and fuss at you a little bit.
In there.
It's important to just take a step back and be like, okay, maybe this is the 10th time this person has had to say this same thing. And every time, I don't know if you have dealt with like kids and goodness, can you put your shoes on? Put your shoes on, sweetheart. Put on your shoes, baby. Go put your shoes on. And it just kind of like you lose more and more patience with these shoes. You know
it bubbles
what I mean?
up. It bubbles up.
It does. And so approaching that with some grace and knowing that the point is not to discard anyone or throw anyone away for making a mistake. People might jump on you a little bit, but take some step backs, think about it and come back to the conversation. Let people know, here's what I learned from this. Let me know if I'm interpreting this right. And usually people will be like, wow, that was a breath of fresh air. Someone actually listened to what I said and took it seriously and has shifted where they're at. Yeah, so there's definitely grace. Just come back to the table. Take a breath and come back to the table every time.
Welcome to Birthright, a podcast about joy and healing in Black birth. Get ready for season 2. It is and always has been your birthright.